Washington rolls out its first deployment of the Typhoon missile system on Japan's Ishigaki Island. The US-made missile system can strike deep into China or Russia, stoking a fast-moving Asian arms race. As Tokyo tests a ship-mounted railgun and Beijing warns Manila over US-Japan naval drills, the Pacific's balance of power tilts toward a volatile new phase. The United States on September 15th rolled out its Typhon intermediate-range missile system in Japan for the first time, underscoring Washington and Tokyo's willingness to field weapons that Beijing has condemned as destabilizing. According to a report by Reuters, the Typhon intermediate-range missile system, along with 2 new missile systems, will be deployed to Japan's Ishigaki Island for the first time in the 2-week drill. Resolute Dragon exercise is an annual, which this year involves 20,000 Japanese and US troops, along with warships and missile batteries. Speaking at Marine Corps Air Station Iwakuni in front of the launcher, Colonel Wade German, commander of the task force that operates the missile system, said,
"Integrating this system into Resolute Dragon affords us the opportunity to conduct tough and realistic training with our partners, both the Joint Force, the Marines, as well as the Japanese Self-Defense Forces, to be able to complete and better integrate and see what interoperability we can do. Through employing multiple systems and different types of munitions, it is able to create dilemmas for the enemy. Operating with a crew, it is able to be deployed remotely and deployed through sea craft and aircraft."
German added that the training is against multiple threat sets for our adversaries.
So we continuously train against multiple threat sets for our adversaries, but it's adversary agnostic. And so we train against the capabilities that this system is designed to go against. Aerial access, aerial denial systems is what we train against. We work through those in both a competitive environment, a constructive environment, and then deploying the system in a real tactical scenario. And that's what we train against.
Typhon's arrival in Western Japan follows its deployment to the Philippines in April 2024, a move that drew sharp criticism from Beijing and Moscow, which accused the US of fueling an arms race. The land-based launcher, capable of firing Tomahawk cruise missiles with enough range to strike China's eastern seaboard or parts of Russia from Japan. Typhon can also fire SM-6 missiles designed to strike ships or aircraft at ranges beyond 200 kilometers. Washington is seeking to mass such anti-ship weapons across Asia as it scrambles to counter China's growing missile arsenal. Japan has fired the world's first ship-mounted railgun at sea. A hypersonic shot, officials say, could upend the balance of naval warfare and challenge the dominance of missiles. This month, Naval News reported that Japan's Ministry of Defense, through its Acquisition, Technology and Logistics Agency, announced the country's first successful live firing of a ship-mounted electromagnetic railgun against a target vessel at sea. The test aboard the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Forces test ship Asuka involved long-range firings and precision targeting, with Acquisition, Technology and Logistics Agency releasing visual documentation via its official social media platforms. The railgun, which uses electrical energy to launch hypervelocity projectiles, reaching speeds of nearly Mach 7, was developed to counter emerging hypersonic threats from China, North Korea and Russia. Japan's strategic focus on railguns, high-power microwaves and laser-based systems reflects its intent to bolster missile defense capabilities amid rising regional tensions and China's missile buildup. According to Asia Times, railguns may be a cost-effective means to deal with saturation missile attacks compared to interceptor missiles, which are priced in the millions per round. Japan's railgun push comes as China fields DF-17 hypersonic glide vehicles and CJ-10-100 cruise missiles capable of evading current defenses, and North Korea advances its ballistic missile program. In terms of missile defense, railguns may be assigned terminal interception tasks. Currently, Japan employs a two-tier missile defense system consisting of Aegis-equipped destroyers for mid-course interception and Patriot for terminal interception. However, this is not a complete missile defense system. A day after the United States announced the completion of joint maritime exercises in the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, China's military on September 14th said that it had conducted routine patrols in the South China Sea. Earlier, during September 11th, September 13th, the Philippines, Japan, and the United States took part in a maritime cooperation activity inside the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. In a statement announcing the Chinese patrols, a spokesperson for the Southern Theater Command of the People's Liberation Army called on the Philippines to cease provoking incidents in the disputed waterway.
We sternly warn the Philippine side to immediately stop provoking incidents and escalating tensions in the South China Sea, as well as bringing in external forces to back such efforts that are destined to be futile. Any attempt to stir up trouble or disrupt the situation will not succeed.
The PLA warning was issued a day after the United States, Japan, and the Philippines completed joint maritime exercises in the Philippines' EEZ in an unspecified region of the South China Sea. In a statement after the conclusion of maritime exercises, the US Indo-Pacific Command had said,
"The maritime cooperative activity took place from September 11th to 13 in order to demonstrate a collective commitment to strengthen regional and international cooperation in support of a free and open Indo-Pacific. The U.S., along with our allies and partners, upholds the right to freedom of navigation and overflight and other lawful uses of the sea and international airspace, as well as respect to the maritime rights under international law."
The PLA's statement was consistent with, indeed nearly identical to, dozens of similar statements that have been issued following confrontations between the two nations' coast guards over the past few years. Beijing has also routinely condemned Manila's conduct of joint patrols and exercises with close partners and allies. Sure enough, while the drills were ongoing, the state-run tabloid Global Times cited a military source who accused the Philippines of rallying external countries to stir up trouble in the South China Sea through a so-called joint patrol. The report added that the PLA's Southern Theater Command monitored and maintained vigilance throughout the process, keeping the situation fully under control. Both of these actions took place against a backdrop of growing tension in the South China Sea, particularly over Scarborough Shoal, a triangular atoll that lies around 222 kilometers from the coast of the Philippines' Luzon Island. In a possible retaliation, China's State Council last week approved a proposal to establish a national nature reserve at Scarborough Shoal, a move that would provide Beijing with a legal pretext to tighten its control over the disputed atoll.